So we are finally here at Vegas Superkarts, ready for the race, all signed in. We are going to hit the track very shortly here, which you will see right now.
Welcome to qualifying. We're here in kart number 23, just pulling out of the pits. I was in Group B. This was a day right after it rained, so the track conditions are a little bit damp. We're going through a couple different changes throughout the race. You'll notice there's standing water by the barriers. The barriers were very, very treacherous. They had water on top of them. Hitting them causes a spill like you see on track there. And there was a massive puddle to the right here, which does not feel nice to drive through. I've got a bunch of cars in front of me right now, so I'm just trying to pick my spot where I want to start pushing, because you don't want to be on a hot lap and then have a whole bunch of cars slow you down. It's all about setting the fastest lap in qualifying. Right now it's just the formation lap, so I'm not all that worried about losing time, but we're going to make it past that one guy, and we got a decent amount of room right in front of us. If I close in on the group ahead, I'll either have to pass them or slow down, which it does look like I'm going to have to do. So unfortunately, I have to abort the lap, because this guy ahead is very slow. And then, I don't know what he was doing, but he was wanting to battle in qualifying, and it's like, why? I don't get it. So we're skipping a little bit ahead. I finally make a move on this guy, just getting past him so I can start setting some actual quali laps. A little bit of a rough start to the day, but that's alright. It helps heat up the tires and lets me know where I'm at the pace. I'm not worried about him making a move, because I am just going to take my line and roll with it. I do go right into that puddle there, which does not help at all. The car loses all grip if you go through any spots of water, which you'll see later on in the day. So we're going to go a little bit wide here, start another lap, just get as much of a run as possible. Those extra little tenths of a second matter. This was not my fastest lap. I will skip ahead to my fastest lap in a little bit, but I'll show you what a lap around the VSK circuit is like. Through that first corner, that is the fastest corner on track, we will hit a top speed of 45 miles per hour. This day we were a little bit under because the track was cold. It was freezing today. Through that puddle, you want to avoid it. This is a nice hairpin turn into a flat right-hander. This is a very scary corner if you don't get it right. This corner, it's all about being as deep onto the brakes as you can. Get it rotated in. This corner, nice run onto the straightaway. And then it's just carry that speed, carry that speed, carry that speed, all the way down the pit straight, across the line. I was doing, I think, 140 lap times, 141s. Coming across some traffic here, I'm going to have to slow down again, which is not fun. Finally, avoiding that puddle. It was way, way quicker to avoid that puddle. The puddle was not fast at all. So I was running the 41 second lap times, which is not bad, not great though. Though I'm gonna get a massive slipstream from this guy all the way through my quali laps. Again, skipping a little bit ahead to some of my fastest laps, I'm still right in the slipstream. Getting it all the way down the straightaway so you can see how close I am to the car ahead. I was happy with his pace, so I felt no need to pass him. We do pass a little bit of a traffic jam there, but it does not slow me down in the slightest. Avoiding the puddle on the right, just getting that little bit of extra speed through this corner. You can see I already got some water on the camera. I will wipe it off in between sessions, but if there's water in the middle, I can't do anything about it. Deep on the brakes here, you can see just how much I close in on the car ahead. It is a good lap. He hits the wall there, but I'm just going to stay right behind him. Slipstream all the way. I'm going to lose a little bit of time by bumping him there. Across the start-finish line, we go through the fast corner again. I'm staying right behind him, see if I can improve on that lap I just set. Little did I know that was my fastest lap, I think it was. It's one of these laps. Yeah, because here we have traffic, and traffic is not good. Traffic slows you down. So it's the third fastest time of the day. That puts me 5th on the grid. Basically, they take the top finishes from qualifying 1 and 2 because they split it up into 2 different sessions. I was the 3rd fastest in my session since all the fastest laps were done in my session, which means I am starting as the 3rd kart on the right row for the race. Very happy with that.
I crushed it! 3rd fastest of the day. That puts me, I think, 3rd for Group A. Right where I want to be.
So as you'll just have heard there, I thought it was 3rd on the grid. It was actually 5th on the grid, as I stated prior. But it was the 3rd fastest time, which means I do have pace in the kart. I'm very happy, but a lot of the fast guys were in the first qualifying session when the track was cold, it was wet, and it dried off a lot in between the 2 sessions. So we'll have to see. You can see I am warming up the tires a lot, going back and forth. All that little that screeching you hear in the tires is a very good sound when you're warming them up. It means I'm going beyond the limit of grip. They're sliding. There's a lot of friction. It's all about getting as much temperature into the tires as you can, especially in the front of the grid, because we have to wait for the back of the grid to catch up, and that means we got to be on the grid just a little bit longer. It means the tires have more time to cool down, and we don't like that. So it's race start. He's getting ready to do the countdown. I'm on the inside line. This is where I want to be. And it's a bad launch from me. I'm slow to react, but I'm getting a bump from behind. Through the inside. I'm fighting for 4th. Inside for the next corner. It's where I want to be, but the guy ahead is a little bit slow. And I'm side by side. And he's through. He's a very quick driver. I want to follow him, but I'm getting bumped from behind. I'm going to go defensive into the, 4th corner, through the 5th, and that little bump tells me that they want to push to get ahead. They don't want to fall behind battling just yet, especially when there's positions to gain. You can see the race before, they spilled a whole bunch of water on track. That's going to affect things later. Onto the straightaway. They already have a gap ahead. I've got to push hard. We're hitting about 44 miles per hour down the straightaway. Through this corner, I pull a huge gap to the cars ahead. Water splashes onto the visor. It was very foggy, very cold. Very hard conditions to see when you don't have anything on your visor blocking it. But I'm getting very, very close to the cars ahead. That gives me a lot of confidence. But the car behind is also right on my bumper, so I gotta start thinking about defending if I want to keep this position. It's 5th in the running right now, but I'm right behind one of the fastest drivers. I'm not going to send a move here, but I'm going to make him think about it. He goes to the inside, but he swerves back just in time to take his normal line. And he gets a good run on the car ahead. I'm not there to follow. I'm going to try my best. Yellow helmet is on the outside. Inside for this corner. I'm on the outside. Forced out onto the water. My right tires are a little bit colder now, and it just sends me skidding out wide. Little bit of contact, but I think it was clean. Now I'm on the attack. Once again, diving into the corner. I'm right on his bumper. That wet patch, we both go out onto it. That's going to make us both slow out of the corner. Onto the straightaway. I'm going to push him. I want to tell him, let's go push for the front. I'm going to stay right with him, not give him any breathing room. But I do want to push towards that front position because I don't want to just sit here fighting for, 5th? I want to go more. Diving down to this corner, I can see he's a little bit slower there. I make a mistake and lock up the brakes, trying not to go into the back of him. Down into the hairpin. You can see I'm so much better on the brakes. But this wet patch sends us both skidding out wide. Someone went through the water, dragged it all over the track. That makes us both slow. I'm going to try and send it around the outside, but there's no space. He closes the door. Across the start-finish. And it's another lap gone. Again, just so much better on the brakes. I've got to make a move here soon. Through the fast left-hander. And into the heavy braking zone. I'm just a little bit slower on exit. I did not carry quite as much speed. But again, right on his bumper. He goes wide onto the water. That could give me a run down onto the start-finish straight. I'm gonna look up the inside. I'm right there. And I'm through. But I don't defend it, and he goes for the inside. I have to leave space. I'm gonna get forced out onto the water. I don't want that. I have the inside for this next left-hander. But I'm out onto the water. That's gonna make me slow. Down into the hairpin. And I'm through. He's still trying to fight it, but I have the inside for this corner. I look behind. I don't feel a need to go defensive. Diving in on the brakes. You can see all that water on track is making it very difficult to drive. We're on slick tires. These things are not made to clear water. It's another lap gone. First and second have ran away with it. So is third and fourth. I'm down in fifth here. Fifth or fourth, I believe. Just running a little bit wide onto the water. You can see the car bouncing around. It's that smoothness again I'm talking about. I'm not pressing the brakes quite as much as I need to be, and it's making the car very unstable. It's that little bit of a flaw in my driving style that only creeps up when I'm alone. I'm good when I have a car in front. I'm not good when it's just me. So flying down the pit straight, water all over the visor here. It's definitely hard conditions to see. It's a lot worse in the helmet than it is on the GoPro. There were spots all over. The cars behind are steadily catching. There was a very fast driver behind, and he was making his way up the field because he had Group 1 for qualifying, so he had the worst conditions, and he did not manage to qualify well. But he sends it up the inside. I'm out onto the water. That bump pushed me out, and I had no grip on exit. That makes me super slow across the pit straight. You can see how far he's pulled ahead, which means the car behind is going to have a massive run down onto the pit straight. Around the first corner. I'm holding the speed now. Second corner, we're going to dive onto the brakes. Just a little bit wide. Fast left-hander of 3, down into 4. That was a massive upset. I just got bumped out wide onto the water and made the kart so unruly. The kart right behind is looking for a move down in the same corner. I'm going to have to concede. I don't want to go wide again. And he's through. Now it's just about clinging to his bumper, seeing what I can do from this position. Down on the pit straight, my tires got cooled significantly by that water, and it does not help at all. All that tire warming you saw me do at the beginning of the race, all down the drain. So around the corners of 2, now down into the flat left-hander of 3. I'm just losing a little bit of ground to the car ahead. Deep on the brakes though, I'm going to close that gap just a little bit, but he gets a better exit down into 3 and 5 and 4, and into the tight right-hander of 5. Onto the straightaway. I'm just a little bit wide. I'm not going to get as good a run as him. That's going to let him pull away just a little bit. I know the car behind him was a very fast driver. He was setting the fastest laps of the race. So I've got a lot to do to keep him behind. And if I can't keep up with the car ahead, I'm going to be doomed to the car behind. So I've just got to get my head down and push, push, push. We got a lot of time left in this race. I can still recover. You can see he's just pulling away a little bit. I've got to push hard. I was way faster at the start of the race, and I gradually slowed down. That is one of my biggest flaws as a driver right now. I don't have the mental endurance to keep it up. I've got to work on that. You can see I shuffle in my seat a little bit. My jacket was coming up, and that was not nice with how cold it was. He makes a small mistake out of corners 2. Down into 3, I'm going to have a better run than him. It's not going to give me a run into 4, but it's going to let me be good on the brakes here. See if I can close that gap a little bit, and I do. Significantly. You can see I'm so much closer down into 5, now 6. Diving in on the brakes. Right on his bumper. We're making good progress here. I'm much faster through this section of the track. Down onto the pit straight, a good slipstream. It's not going to let me make a move into 1, but perhaps maybe into 2. He gets a good exit though. He's pulling away just a little bit as we hit that top speed. Down into 2, I'm a better driver. I don't go wide onto the water like he does. Into 3 and 4, diving onto the brakes. I close that gap a little bit, but you can see he opens it on exit. He's just that little bit earlier on the throttle, and I'm not keeping up. I want that position back. That's 5th place. I want to start where I finished. Down onto the straightaway, still thoroughly in the slipstream. It is definitely keeping me right here on his bumper. The slipstream does play an impact here, and this is the same driver I followed in qualifying, I think. So I've got a lot to prove here. The kart was definitely not to blame. The kart was good. The conditions were not in my favor though. The wet patches that I used to be avoiding have disappeared, and the new wet patches are right on the line I like. Onto the straightaway again. You're gonna see the white flag up ahead. It's final lap. Let's see if I can do something here. Around the first corner, he pulls away again. You can just see the kart bouncing as I overdrive. Just carrying in a little bit too much speed. Down to the fast left-hander. Into the hairpin. Diving in on the brakes, but he's just pulling away. He's pushing so much harder now. It's final lap. The car right behind me. You can't see him yet, but you will as soon as we cross the line. Across the start-finish straight. I'm not going to take back 5th. I'm going to finish 6th this race. But there's a car right behind me threatening me for 7th. But no. Checkered flag. I take 6th this race. Group A. I am very happy with that performance, but there's still another heat after this. Giving the drivers a fist bump. That was a fun battle. Let's see what I can do in the next race, starting from 6th on the grid. The driver in front and the driver behind are both very talented. It's going to be a very intense fight. See, I'm just being a little bit cheeky here. Going up the inside just to claim back the position I originally was in. And then we slow down to bring it into the pits. Raising our hands to tell the driver behind, hey, we're slowing down. Formation lap for the second heat. Again, I'm going to be very intense on the tire warming because it does make me one of the faster drivers in that first half of the race. I get those tires up to temp. They're very hard compound tires because it is rental go-karts, so you can never be too warm on these tires. It's all about getting them as hot as you can, especially in cold track conditions like this. Kart number 24. In qualifying, I had kart number 23. I was very happy about that. 23 is the number I race in pretty much everywhere. 23 is my favorite number. So coming across, you can see I'm very intense on the tire warming. As hard as I can, I'm going to slam the brakes here a few times, lock them up, get the tires sliding. And it's a 6th place start. It's on the outside though. It means I'm probably going to lose a position here to 7th. We got to push hard on the start. And it's green flag, green flag. I get an amazing launch, but the car ahead does not. I'm going up the outside. We're 3 wide into turn 1. Side by side now. I'm pushing with the car ahead. That slowdown from the start just did not do me any favors. We're 3 wide out of the corner. Into the 3rd corner. I'm just going to get pushed a little bit wide. And a cart goes up the inside. Down at a 4. He has the inside line, but I have the inside line for 5. He makes contact with the car ahead. That slows him down. And now we have a car on our inside. I'm going to defend very hard down into this corner. Get a good run onto the straightaway. You can see I get bumped from behind. It's a very, very bumpy start. And the cars ahead are already pulling away. Onto the pit straight. We're going almost 45 miles per hour. We're going to hit 45 miles per hour down this straightaway. It was a rocky start. The kart ahead just did not get off the line quickly, and I got in a massive start. If I was on the inside, that would have been monumental. Down into the 4th corner, into the 5th, the flat right-hander. We're just going to pull on the cars ahead. They're all going to start battling. There's going to be a big concertina effect in the braking zones. Let's see what we can do. Across the pit straight, I have the slipstream of 3 karts ahead, but I'm only really going to feel 1. Crossing the line for the 3rd lap of racing. Bumping the wall just a little bit. It's alright though. Good on the brakes here. A little bit of bumping on the exit. The kart behind right on my bumper. They want to push for these karts ahead. They want to get into the battle. It's a battle for 3rd right now. All the way down. 1st and 2nd are running away with it, but 3rd, 4th, 5th, all right in front of me. I'm still in 6th position. It's right where I started. It's right where I want to be. Let's see what we can do. I get a massive run down to the straightaway. Just a little bit of battling, just a little bit of slowing down. And it's going to be a massive run down into 2. I'm going to try and follow the kart ahead, see what they do. There's a little bit of a skid. I make it side by side. But this driver's very, very good. I'm right on their bumper. I get a bump from behind that lets me make the move here, but they close the door while I'm already there. That's going to slow me down. That's going to let this kart through, who throws me into the wall. And I'm going to get another pass from the kart ahead. That's 3 positions lost when I could have gained 1. And I'm slow out onto the straightaway. That was a disaster. I'm not happy with that, but I gotta get my head down and focus. There's nothing I can do. If you get a penalty, they get a penalty. I want to stay close enough to benefit from it, though. Through 3, into 4. You can see they're pulling away a little bit, but as they start to battle, I'm gonna slowly close that gap. It's just a matter of time, a matter of when, a matter of what I can do. And as you can see, they go side by side here. This is going to massively slow them down onto the straightaway. It's going to let me just close that gap a little bit. I was just a little bit slow on the straightaway, though. You gotta wonder, am I doing something wrong out of that final corner? Almost definitely I am. As you can see, I nearly skid out onto turn 1, down into 2, entering my stronger section of the track. And all the drivers ahead are battling. You can see the gap visibly closing in between the corners. I'm right in the fight, almost side by side, but I think better of it. That same driver who hit me hits into another driver. I'm going to give him a bump, help them out. See if I can make a move on the exit, but no, he's good on the brakes. He holds that inside line, parks it on the apex. But I'm right on his bumper. I'm going to make him think about defending. Show him that I want to take that move, but he swerves to the right before the braking zone. It's a little bit of a wild drive. That's a very late move. Following him through 2 and through 3, he's a very aggressive driver. I'm going to have to see what I can do. He has a bad run out of that corner, but I'm not going to be able to benefit from it yet. Down into 5 and 6. He's good on the brakes, and I'm not able to make a move. But it's going to give me a good run onto the straightaway. You can see again, I got that straight line speed right now. I'm holding right to him. You can see he pulls away just a little bit, but through this first corner, he makes a mistake. You can see the gap closing in. Second corner, oh, I'm just going to be a little bit too light on the brakes, and I'm going to bump him. I'm going to lose all that momentum. And the kart behind me is going to benefit massively as I slowly drift away from the car in front. It's going to take a monumental push again to get back to his bumper. Thankfully, the kart behind does not make a move out of it. But it's not the position I want to be in. Again, onto the straightaway. I'm closing the gap a little bit. I am the faster driver of the pair. Into the first corner. I'm just going to make a small mistake, bouncing a little bit. It's not going to let me pull in that gap. But second corner, I'm significantly faster. Down to 3. We're pulling on the cars ahead. There's a massive battle. And I'm in a 5-car battle. What a position to be in. I got the view of it all. Cars side by side. I want to try and benefit from this. The car ahead will be slowed down by the group. I try to go a little bit wide, see if I can get a run onto the straight, but it's just a little bit too slow. And that's going to put me under threat from the car behind. But he's slow out of the corner. I can go around the outside here. He's got a cart in front of him that's going to slow him down. You can see just a little bit of an oversteer on exit. I'm through the inside, but he's going to go up the inside here. No, but I defend it. He's going to try and move into this corner. Side by side. I'm going to hold it here. I'm going to hold it here, but he runs me into the wall. And that's another position loss. And another one. I don't know what happened there. I was on the outside. I didn't want to give in, but he just ran me out wide, and I hit into the barrier. I'm threatening the car ahead. I know he sees me. I'm going to stay to the inside. Just give him a little bit of trouble. I don't want to make it easy. I don't want to make it comfortable, but I've been way too cautious this race. I need to be significantly more aggressive. I need to push hard. Down into 4. I'm good on the brakes. This driver ahead is not as fast as me. They qualified much lower. I've got to push hard. Push, push, push. Down into 6. Am I going to get a run onto the straightaway? There's carts all ahead. He's going to get a good slipstream. 2 carts side by side into the first corner. They think better of it. I think better of it as well. It's a massive battle down here in the midfield. I'm just going to make him think about me being on the inside. Almost get it on exit, but he carries a lot more speed on that outside line. Down into 4. He makes a move on someone else. I want to try and follow, but I'm too far back. He holds the position. That's another opportunity down the drain, but I'm going to try and send it through this corner, and I do make the move. A little bit defensive through here. I want to get a good run onto the straight, but the car ahead slows me down. I'm right on his bumper. I'm going to make him think about it. I'm going to make him think. He goes defensive. Down to the first corner. He's just a little bit slow, and I make contact. That just transfers a little bit of my momentum to him. Lots of cars ahead. We both make a mistake into 2. Water splashing onto my visor again. Driver's a little bit slow. I'm going to go for the move. He doesn't leave the gap, though. There's just a little bit under a car and another car goes through. I'm tumbling down the order. This is an awful, awful race, but I've got to recover. Onto the straightaway. He's a little bit slower than me. Can I make a move here? Sees me on the inside. He leaves the room. Side by side. I'm going to squeeze him as narrow as possible. Final lap. Final lap. Can I take back the position I was in? He's on the inside. I'm just going to close the door on him, though. Down into 3. Let's see what I can do. I'm going to go defensive. I don't want him to take that inside line. I want to hold this position. I do not want to lose it. He's going to be desperate to make a move, so I got to keep on defending. There's no way I can push the cars ahead. Down into 5. Just very heavy onto the brakes. And aim to get a good run onto the straightaway. I'm going to hold it as narrow as possible. Leave no gap for him to go through. Coming across the line, you can see the checkered flag. And I hold the position. What a race that was. I went tumbling down the order, but it's still a much better finish than I had last race. It's a Group A finish. It's always going to be worth more points. I give him a thumbs up, but he's already slowed down. Cool down lap. You can see all the drivers ahead slow down. Wow, that was a fun one. So much happened. So much to learn. So much to gain. It's my best finish of the year so far. I'm not going to get to stand on the podium again, but I'm very happy with what I did today. I learned a lot. I gotta be more aggressive, gotta be more assertive. Can't let other carts push me around. I believe coming into the pit lane, it was an 8th place finish, which is still in the top 8. I'm still very, very happy with that performance. It's a little bit hard to hear me over the cars in the background, so I'm just going to commentate over. I learned a whole bunch. I'm very happy with the performance, but I don't get to stand on the podium today. I'm coming for those top spots, though. I definitely have the pace. I was third overall for qualifying. Just got to push.